All right, so we're here with legendary writer Garth Ennis at the Avatar booth. You're in town for the weekend.
Right.
You excited to see some of the Canadian fans?
Yes, indeed.
So I know that this is the Avatar booth, but I have a few questions about some characters from some other companies that you're associated with. First of all, would have to be Nick Fury, who you did your run this past year on the My War Gone By series. And what I wanted to know is, it's like, you know, you covered a lot of American history, you know, the Bay of Pigs, Vietnam, and I wanted to know, was it important for you to give Nick Fury that backstory of his history in the CIA?
Very much so, yeah. Given that in the Max world that I kind of established in The Punisher, there really is no other Marvel universe. There are no Marvel characters. There's really just The Punisher and Fury. It seemed to me that the only sensible way to handle the character was to make him a CIA operative, fairly senior one, but still a field agent. And that meant taking him through the past 50, 60 years of Black Ops history. And read any history of the CIA, it's a pretty depressing track record. There's few victories, few things to be happy about. There's a lot more one problem leading to another. Seemed to me that that would be the perfect world to drop Fury into.
With guys like Punisher and Nick Fury and guys like that, the gritty, what makes these, you know, street level soldiers more just as tough and as important as superheroes?
To me, they're a lot more important than superheroes because they're several steps nearer the real world. Superheroes to me are of very limited interest, very limited relevance. It would be hard to do a story like the one I did with Nick Fury and have Spider-Man show up in the middle of it. It would instantly destroy the story, just remove all credibility. With a guy who's a Black Ops agent, a spy, an assassin, all the various roles that Fury's fulfilled, with a guy like that to begin with, I think you're able to achieve a level of relevance that superheroes simply can't reach.
Right. So you're saying in a superhero world, it'd be tough to do a character who's kind of a warmonger, like Fury is in this story, a guy who's kind of just looking for a war to be a part of.
Hard to do it in a way that's relevant to our real world experience, to what we've seen over the past 70 years since the end of World War II. If you're going to have characters that can level buildings with heat vision or throw trucks as far as the moon, you're instantly going to alter the dynamic of any story almost unrecognizably. You're going to lose any sense of historical significance or relevance.
Right, I hear you.
Now, you announced recently that you're going to be working on a new Punisher book. Is it going to be in the Max line?
Yes, it is. It's called The Platoon. It's a 6-issue story, I believe drawn by Goran Parlov, and it will feature Frank Castle's first tour of duty in Vietnam. So this is pre-Punisher, pre-Black Ops. It's simply a young platoon commander with zero combat experience showing up in time for the Tet Offensive, the Siege of Khe Sanh in 1968, and being thrown in at the deep end.
I am so looking forward to this book now, because one of my favorites of your work is Bourne, so this is like right up my alley. What else do you have coming up from Avatar? Because you've been doing a lot of work with them for the last couple of years. What's next for you in that case as well?
More Crossed. I'm following my plan of dropping back into the Badlands series every year. The next one will be our origin story. It's called The Thin Red Line. It begins in issue 50. It essentially discusses the outbreak of the Crossed virus, and for the first time I'll be looking at how things fell apart at a kind of governmental, military level. So we'll see the outbreak, we'll see the first patient, we'll see the attempts to cope. It will actually feature the characters from the recent Fatal Englishman story arc.
Okay.
and you'll see what they were doing before the outbreak, which may surprise some people. Actually, it may not be what they're expecting. Beyond that, there's the third series of Dicks. There's the old war stories from Vertigo. Avatar are putting them back in print.
Oh, really?
And
nice.
We're spinning a new series off that, which I'm very happy about. And then there are two completely new series. One is called Caliban. The other is called Rover Red Charlie. And all in all, it means next year's going to be a very busy one for me with Avatar.
I was just going to ask, when do you sleep exactly?
I do have quite a high output. I think part of the reason for that is I've always enjoyed writing fast, keeping with the energy of the story.
One thing that I've noticed with a lot of your work is that you tend to push the envelope, you tend to take people out of their comfort zone sometimes, you know, show some grittiness. But one character where you kind of did almost the exact opposite, you stayed with a more traditional style, was your work on The Shadow, which kind of had a very traditional sense to it. It was kind of like you just kind of updating almost the origins of it and the, you know, the character. Was it a conscious decision to kind of try to keep it to the Shadow that you know, or were you just wanting to not veer away from what other people know with the character?
I think it was more a case of me finding the limitations of the character from my own perspective. I actually, and this surprised me, didn't enjoy writing The Shadow that much. I thought I would. Great looking character, interesting historical period, action-packed. The problem I found was that I had very limited interest in The Shadow himself. I came to see him as essentially a walking gun. When he shows up, only one thing's going to happen.
Right.
He doesn't tend to explain himself. The guy who does that for him, of course, is Lamont Cranston, but who is a very good character, a sort of an excellent rogue, a cad. But on the whole, I found The Shadow less of an enjoyable experience than I expected to. So to answer your question, it was really me finding where I could take the character to be rather limited territory.
Right, okay. So yeah, exactly. It was sort of like you were working in the box and you did the best thing you could with it.
Pretty much. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes you start a story with the best of intentions. You think, can't go wrong here. And then you find yourself in, as you say, in that box, and you realize there's really no way out of it.
Well, I think you did a pretty good job in that box, and I really enjoy your work, and I look forward to more of your work. And I want to thank you very much for talking with us, and we look forward to seeing more of your work here and seeing you here at the con.
Oh, well,
Thanks a lot.